Yakuza 6 The Song of Life is a 2018 action-adventure beat-em-up, and it's the continuation of that cliffhanger in Yakuza 5, and it's also the finale, the final story of Kazuma Kiryu in the Yakuza game series. I say it like that because apparently in Japan there's already a spin-off sequel called Like a Dragon Yakuza, which follows a new protagonist. With that being said, focusing on Yakuza 6 The Song of Life, it is the absolute best entry in the game series. So far, I should say. I still have Judgment and the new Like a Dragon Yakuza when it gets localized to play through. But otherwise, for Kazuma Kiryu's storyline as an individual, Yakuza 6 The Song of Life is definitely the best in the series from Yakuza 0 all the way up to 6. Now, with that being said, Yakuza 0 is still a very close second. Yakuza 0 still has the best personality and charm in it. But with that being said, Yakuza 6 has the best story. It has mostly the best visuals, especially the character models and facial animations and everything. The combat is still very much simplistic, but it's improved, upgraded, and I actually enjoyed it in Yakuza 6. The extreme heat mode, or just using the regular heat mode, it was satisfying. The best part about Yakuza 6, in my opinion, would be the story. It is the most personal, closest story that they have written for Kazuma Kiryu's story, and it is definitely close and personal, but it's also a satisfying conclusion to his story, which is usually rare to say, because usually every story for anything, movie, TV show, games, whatever, most of the time it's usually either the third in the trilogy or it's the last in the storyline that's usually the weakest. But in Yakuza 6, the last one is definitely the best story. It has amazing writing. The entire 16.5-hour story that I played through, the majority of the time was story. It was very well developed. Even the side plots that intertwined in the main story when you had to go through them, because you would run to a location and a side plot would engage and you had the choice sometimes to do it or not, but I mean, it meshed well. My biggest complaint with the Yakuza games is the storytelling, usually intertwining the side plot with the main story, but here I think it blended everything very well. Now, I do have some gripes for Yakuza 6. For example, the environmental details, especially when the cameras are panning, they can look downright ugly. Staticky every time, every frame, but it's decent. It's subpar to decent for environmental details, I'll say that. It's good, it's not ugly or anything, it's just, it could have used more work. I think the Dragon engine was used better in Yakuza 0, it just looks mostly better. Otherwise, as far as environment goes, the not allowed parts in the world is still kind of bogging down the gameplay. It's a free roam, sort of, still. No big deal, I mean, these are story-driven games, so, I mean, it's not too big of a deal. The combat, like I said earlier, is still simplistic. It has its entertaining factors in it, but it's still pretty simplistic. The end of the game story is basically a rehash of the storytelling in Yakuza Kiwami 2. That's not bad, because they do plot twist upon plot twist upon plot twist, and it's not bad because they actually have one predictable ending of it, but then they do yet another plot twist right at the very end, and it's actually a very satisfying conclusion, above all. So the story follows Kazuma Kiryu like always, and I gotta say, it is a breath of fresh air going from chapter and part to part of different characters and going back to the original format of you play as Kazuma Kiryu, chapter 1 to 13, and I love that. style of it. I thought that Yakuza 4 and 5, all I've read and heard about the storytelling, I thought it'd be amazing. It sounded like a Game of Thrones kind of storytelling. But they didn't mesh the stories very well in those games, like they did in Yakuza 0, which they used Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima as the main protagonists in Yakuza 0, and every 2 chapters they flip-flop to the next character, and I like that. Yakuza 6, it's Kazuma Kiryu's story straight up, chapter 1 to 13, all of it, and it's still amazing. It's still amazingly well built, well written, well told. I don't have many gripes. Like I said, I think I listed all of them already. Set aside a couple scenes of sort of felt pushed dialogue, but for the sake of the story, which is actually a pretty long story for an independent individual storyline, it's mostly a well-told story. The character models, animations, the facial animations definitely shine just as bright as the story. My God, every character in this game looks amazing. From their hair to their clothing, all the way down to their shoes. Everything about the character, animations, and models look amazing. Otherwise, I would definitely say if you haven't played Yakuza 6, go play it. Buy it or rent it, it doesn't matter. Play it through the story at least once. And I do have to say, this is one of the easier Yakuza games, so you'll want to play on the harder difficulties. But otherwise, the transitions in the storytelling are amazingly done, flawless. Character models, flawless. Environmental details definitely could have used more polish. Story and storytelling, flawless. I'm going to have to give Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, the best rating out of the whole series and give it a 9 out of 10. Thank you.